Hello class, I am Sir Angie Javier. This is our discussion of our fourth lesson in purposive communication, that is, understanding and evaluating multimodal text. This lesson belongs to our Unit 2, Communication in the Digital Age, 21st Century Theme, Civic Literacy. For our objectives, here they are. Before we tackle the different modes of communication, let us first dissect the word multimodal. The prefix multi simply means many or several, while the word modal comes from its root word mode, which means manner or ways, paraan. So, simply put, multimodal means something of many manner, something of many ways, or having several modes. Therefore, this discussion will be focusing on texts that use multimodes or several manners in their communication. So, what is a multimodal text? A multimodal text is a strategic use of two or more modes to make meaning. Meaning, in order to convey a message, a meaning to your audience, you use two or more ways to do so. Look at this example. Now, this example is, of course, a multimodal text because it uses two modes of communication. It uses two ways to deliver the message. First, there is a text on top, and the second one is an image. Once again, this is a multimodal text, meaning it uses two ways or dalawang paraan to communicate the message it intends to convey. So, a text is considered multimodal when it combines two or more modes of communication. What are these modes and how do we know that we're actually doing multimodal? We have the linguistic, the visual, aural, gestural, and the spatial. All of these five are examples of modes that you can use to communicate a message. Now, now let's focus on the linguistic mode. From the root word lingo or language, the linguistic mode refers to vocabulary, generic structure, and the grammar of oral and written language, meaning the linguistic mode is when you use language to convey a message. If you want to say a message, if you want to say something, and you use language, be it spoken or written, automatically you're using the linguistic mode. This mode is the most widely used among all the forms because this is the form we are all familiar with. It can be done through print and audio, meaning like in writing, in actual symbols, and audio meaning when you say the words. Some examples could be shopping list, emails, text messages, academic essays, an automated voice in customer service. All of these use the linguistic mode. The second one is the visual mode. Simply, this is comprised of colors, vectors, and viewpoint in still and moving images. Meaning, it could be an image or it can be a movie, a video, as long as it is visual. It helps writers communicate meaning in a way that can be seen by the audience. Why? Because sometimes people must see to believe, and visuals can be helpful and even persuasive. That's why commercials and advertisements are a thing in marketing because it shows the audience about how good or effective a product is. Di ba kapag nanonood kayo ng commercial sa TV man yan or on social media like mga sabong panlaba, they would show you that once you use that detergent, it will really clean and even make your clothes, if they are white, whiter than before. So by giving those visual inputs, they get to convince you that their product is effective and of good quality. The next one is the oral mode. As you can see at the bottom right, there is an image of an ear because the oral mode is about spoken words, sound, music, volume, rhythm, speed of delivery, pitch, tone, and voice. A sound catches people's attention, and writers use the oral mode to bring their words to life. Imagine a radio sportscaster commentary helps the audience experience the game through sound because they don't see anything. Um they're just getting updated about the game via the radio. The sportscaster needs to maximize his or her voice, sure that the audience gets the full experience of the game. Alam mo yun, yung pang kailangan very much energetic, very much into the game. Surely you have been noticing that among sportscasters, be it on an online sports or radio sports casting. Surely you have noticed that. For instance, you go to a JS prom, a promenade. If you hear a slow romantic music, it signals everyone that it's time for lovers, for partners to go to the dance floor and dance. Pero if you would hear an upbeat music, cheerful music, it's time for friends, for acquaintances to go into the dance floor at para magsayo together. Now, it is said here that the oral mode is also about spoken words. You may get confused because, as we have said, in the linguistic mode, it's when you use words, be it oral or written. The manner that you speak, the manner that you say the words, it affects the meaning of what you're saying. Of course, volume is a big factor in oral mode. Like, pag pinagagalitan ka ng nanay mo or when your mother is saying something to you, pan ba, inutusan ka, kapag mahina yung boses, so probably your mother is calm, kalmado lang siya, wala naman siyang gustong, hindi naman urgent yung inuutos niya, pero kapag malakas na yung volume, dumadagundong na sa bahay, it means it's urgent and you really need to respond at once. Siyempre, yung rhythm din, yung speed of delivery, diba? Kapag yung mga taong nagsasalita ng pang sobrang bilis, it's obvious na kinakabahan sila, diba? Yung the pitch and the tone, and of course, the voice of the person. Kapag nagka-crack, so it can really signal something about the person, that probably the person is lying, or maybe the person is just very much nervous during the moment. Okay? So, this is what we mean by oral mode. Everything auditory, everything that is heard, you know, and it helps a lot in conveying a message. The fourth one is the gestural mode, from the root word gesture. So, this refers to the movement, speed, and stillness in facial expression and body language. Meaning to say, it helps writers to communicate meaning through movement. And traditionally, this mode was used primarily in face-to-face interactions. However, with of course our modern technology, we are allowed to show movement virtually, maybe through video calls, meetings, video meetings, online meetings, and others. So the gestural mode is very important when you do speeches, when you speak to an audience, when you converse with people with a particular effect in mind, when you have a goal in mind. Napakahalaga ng gestures because it helps you deliver the message more. Okay? For instance, if you would try to convince an audience to buy a product, if they see your hands shaking while explaining the product to them, you may not fully convince them. But if you would speak with very minimal movements, with your chin up, with a smiling face, everything that shows confidence, there is a big chance that you can convince your audience to buy your product. The gestural mode is often used in combination with other modes. Of course, syempre naman, mahirap naman mag-gesture ka dyan nang wala ka man lang sinasabi or wala man lang audio or oral mode. 'Di ba? Kung mag-gesture ka lang dyan, malay ba namin kung ano yung sinasabi mo, 'di ba? Baka nang shasharade dyan. But if you combine gestural mode into your linguistic mode or in your oral mode, it really gives an impact to your speech or to the message you wish to convey. Finally, we have the spatial mode, from the word space. This includes physical arrangement. Basically, spatial mode is about spacing of things, okay, be it in your speech or in your writing. So it involves spacing, position, organization, proximity, direction, and distance of elements in a text. This is very much important in written text, like in physical layout of brochures like this, or even in the organization of items in a website like this. The physical arrangement of your text is important for you to direct your audience into the parts of your text that you wish them to focus on. To emphasize certain parts of your text. For example, the image on the right side shows a website. And what they want their audience to do is to enroll into their summer 2020 classes. So you see there, they have put a student in there, holding like a portfolio or a book, a big book, and then below that image is a capitalized enroll now for summer 2020, and with a striking yellow background. So that is how they organized their text there. Now, on the brochure on the left side, on the left image, you would see here how they organized the images, even the text in the brochure. So the brochure is designed this way to make sure that the audience appreciates the aesthetics of their home decorations. You know that it's minimalist, it is vibrant, and it's good to look at. Of course, aside from text, spatial mode can be applied in speeches, in face-to-face interactions, like when you do public speaking. It matters where you put the projector for your presentation, where you stand, where you put the podium, those elements of the stage. It matters how you position them, how you organize them. So that is what we mean by spatial mode. How you physically arrange things, be it on your writing or on speeches. Now, there are different considerations when you do multimodal. When you use several modes to deliver your message, you have to consider some factors. First, start by researching the rhetorical situation. You must have a firm understanding of the purpose, audience, and the context surrounding the writing task. Of course, it's very much important that you understand your writing task. What are you asked to do? Ano bang kailangan mong gawin? Ano bang gusto mong palabasin? Okay? For example, you are tasked to make an advertisement, a poster for instance. Kailangan mong gumawa ng poster. So if you're asked to make a poster, ano bang mga effective ways to make sure that your audience would be interested dun sa product na pinopromote mo? So, probably, of course, linguistic, because you need to say some words to make sure they get what you want to understand about the product. And then you could also use visual mode, apply images, show images. For example, pagkain yung pinopromote mo, burger. So, siyempre, kailangan may maganda kang image ng burger na very much enticing, like the way the fast foods in the Philippines advertise their food, diba? Yun talagang enticing na parang kahit hindi ka naman gutom, matatakam ka. So, it's important that you understand your writing task or your task. Okay? Dapat alam mo kung ano yung gusto mong message na mai-render, maibigay sa audience mo para maintindihan mo kung ano ba talagang mga modes ang dapat mo lang gamitin. Kasi hindi naman pwedeng gamitin mo lahat or just use everything that you think is applicable to your topic, di ba? Second, determine which modes could add value to your work. Be careful not to add modes just because you think you should. This is what I'm saying. That not because you think it's applicable, this particular mode is applicable to your topic, gagamitin mo na siya. Siyempre, it matters din na kaya mong mag-combine lang ng certain modes lang na yung kailangan lang talaga. Okay? Hindi naman kailangan lahat igagamitin mo na kagad. Okay? Just to say na, ay, pinag-isipan ko talaga to because I use all the 5 modes, yung 5 ways to communicate the message. Baka naman hindi kailangan, di ba? Okay? Third, consider opportunities, challenges, and constraints of any writing task and assess and revise your work to meet the needs of the audience. When you do your multimodal text, when you use different modes already, check nyo din yung work nyo, di ba? Baka naman mamaya, yun nga, you have used a certain mode na hindi naman pala kailangan, baka pwedeng tanggalin yun, di ba? So, just assess your work after you do it and then revise if necessary. And that's it. For our references, we have these books as our sources. Once again, a multimodal text simply is a text that uses 2 or more modes of communication. It can be linguistic mode, visual mode, aural mode, gestural mode, or spatial mode. Okay? So when you do writing tasks in the future and you have the freedom to use whatever mode you can use, you can combine them to make your writing more effective. Okay, thank you for listening. See you on our next lesson.